We are live. We are live. Hello, hello, my beautiful people. Hello, body, mind, and soul providers. We are back here on our Sundays Connection Circle. It's our pleasure to be here, and we have a beautiful people here with us from, I heard a little bit sneak peek that we are all over the world. So that's going to be an exciting day. Thank you so much for everyone for being here, for those that are present here, and for those that are watching. Say hello in the comments. Let us know where you're tuning from. And also, it will be our pleasure to connect with these beautiful people. And the way we do it, like every event, we will go do a quick run to say hello, where you from, and your title. And then we will pass it on to Lorna to dive a little bit deeper into what are your gifts and why were you here to serve the world. So we will start with Yuta.
Okay, so hi, my name is Jutta Wohlrab. Yeah, I introduced myself. So hi, my name is Jutta Wohlrab. Right now, I'm in Sydney, Australia, 5 o'clock in the morning. But normally, I live in Berlin, in Germany. And yeah, what else do I have to say? I could say I'm a midwife, coach, trainer, and speaker. And this is literally me right now.
Amazing, amazing. And of course, we're going to hear more about all you do in a bit. So let's go to Dallas.
My name is Dallas. Happy to be here. I live on Vancouver Island on the west coast of Canada. And I'm an emotional baggage handler.
Well, I can't wait to hear all about that. That is amazing, amazing. Yeah, we have someone, Mike. It's coming in. There he is. We'll let him in as well. And then we have Kanji.
Hi, I'm Kanji Lo. I'm based in Melbourne, Australia, but I'm currently here in Vietnam, traveling. And I am a B2B AI marketer and a business coach. And I also am, just really enjoying how like business and spirituality ties in together. So thank you for having me on board.
It's our pleasure to have you here. And let's say good morning and hello to Mike. He's his second time here and he knows how we run here. Hello, hello, Mike. Good morning.
Adriana, how are you? Great to see
Are we
everybody.
doing absolutely amazing? As if you remember from the last time, you just say hello, where are you from, and also your title.
Okay, I'm here in Lima, Peru, originally from the mean streets of Massapequa, Long Island. I am well, it's right here. I don't have to say it, but as a speaking coach, I should say it, right? I'm a certified world-class speaking coach. We work together to create a signature talk to promote your business.
Amazing, amazing. And let's go to Lorna.
I'm here in British Columbia, so not too far down the road from you, Dallas, in the interior in the Okanagan. And I am a sex and spirit alchemist of the feminine-led life, somatic sexologist, award-winning speaker, and a poet and writer.
Beautiful. And our co-host, another co-host, Michelle.
Hey guys, Michelle Beauchard, natural entrepreneur. I'm a mission technician and digital doula. I help people with their online offer crafting and building the tech platforms to support them. And I am in Victoria, BC, Dallas. So I wonder exactly where on Vancouver Island you are.
Duncan.
Oh, we're just very, very close then. Nice to meet you. Great to have you guys here. So I think Lorna does the second round and she'll explain it all in, and then when we've all had our time, then I'll take up round 3. So over to you, Lorna.
All right, thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Adriana.
Oh yes, Adriana.
Adriana, yes.
Still don't know what you do besides podcasting.
Because besides podcasting, I do a lot of things. So yes, hello, my name is Adriana Di Marvel, and I am from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
Oh.
And also I am a communications expert and a transformational speaker. But we'll dive deeper later into that. So now we go to Lorna.
All right. Welcome to each of you, Yuta and Dallas, Kanji and Mike. So good to have you here. And as we put in our title, Connection Circle, that's absolutely our intention to do that, is to, number one, to acknowledge the connections that are already in place, the connection that are going to happen, and to appreciate the way that we get to weave connections and to recognize the connections that are there and how they can flourish or or be created. So the way that we're going to do this is, first of all, there's going to be 3 questions, and Michelle will be putting those into the chat very soon. Just referral or reference. The way that we like to do it is, first of all, and again, it comes just like our coaching so often comes from our personal experience, or the work that we're doing in the world comes from our own experience. So too does the way that we've done this. So the first thing I'm going to invite you to do is to, any script or any of that thought that's going on, okay, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? What are the questions going to be? All of those things, just to set those aside and just to be here and to listen. There's something about listening not only to the words that are spoken, also to the energy. And I know that we're all sensing and feeling that, which is beautiful. And then also to what is heard beyond and through before the words. The second thing that we like to do is this weaving, that we think about a circle, and if we're just here just sharing, it's like those are just like dots. So the way that we're going to join those dots, we're going to weave it together, is that the first person that shares is going to share something, and when it goes to the next person, that person will pick up something that they maybe heard the person say that resonated, that it reminded me, some type of a connection with what that person shared. Acknowledge it, maybe through, oh, I get this, or yeah, I hear that, reminds me of, just some way to relate to it, and then use the duration of the 5 minutes to share about your 3 questions. And here they are. The first one is, and not necessarily in this order as was mentioned, but it's basically talking about the gifts that you bring, not the gifts, not the freebies. We're talking about the gift of you, the gifts that you bring to the world through your experience, through your voice, through your work in the world. So the gifts that you bring, those could be your superpowers, whatever they are. So the gifts that you bring, who you share them with and how. So is that one-on-ones? Is it group coachings? Is it retreats? How do you share that? And then the third one is why. And again, mix them all up however you want to, whatever way you're inspired to share and respond to those 3 questions. So today I'm feeling it feels to start with Michelle.
Caught me off guard there. All right. Well, I'm happy to do that. So let's see. I am Michelle Beauchard, and you're gonna have a timer, right, Lorna, where you do a 5-minute container to let us know when so I don't blather too long.
Adriana, yeah, if you can. My time is just not up and going yet. Thank you.
Well, where to start? Okay, so I guess I will start with who and how I serve, and maybe my why. So I'm a mom of a guy who's on the autism spectrum, and he's self-injurious and nonviolent, and also of a beautiful daughter who's 60, almost 17, going on 31. And our journey as a family supporting my son has taken us lots of different places. But one of them was serving other parents with respite and homeschool delivery, because I had to do that for him. And so while we were doing that before COVID, everything was going great, and I started doing sharing resources online. When COVID happened, we shut the brick and mortar stuff down. I turned to, well, how can I serve these parents? And I started digging in, as we all did at that time, into online. Did a whack of business training, a whack of digital marketing training, whack of tech training, and in the end developed a digital marketing agency. And the reason why I did that wasn't just to share resources, but as a bake sale, because what I found is, when I was doing the respite and the homeschool, parents couldn't quite afford it. It was difficult to kind of make it. It was great for the parents, great for the kids, great for the workers, but it wasn't breaking even as a business. So as a mama bear wanting to make sure that our kids got these services, I wanted to create a bake sale, basically design a way to create extra funds to be put towards and subsidize respite. So long story short, and fast forward 5 years, I run a digital marketing agency that supports online events. It does VA social media marketing for individual clients, as well as affiliate program marketing. And the revenues from our support services to businesses, and I'm really interested to hear Kanji stuff, because AI is a big part of that. The revenue from the services we provide to others help support the respite and homeschool for. So it's a social purpose enterprise. And I call myself the natural entrepreneur because I'm actually a biologist by formal training, and I feel like business is like an ecosystem, and that our clients' journeys through our offer ecosystem it is a bit like you know how an ecosystem functions. I'm not being very articulate this morning, but it's you need all of the different parts and all of the pieces to function together. Also, I think that the business world in general has been up until recently been kind of a monoculture, and that our soul's purposes and our individual gifts as humans need to come through and diversify the business environment. So each of you with your individual gifts coming through your online offer is rediversifying the business world into we've lost all those little mom and pop brick and mortar shops into sort of corporate chains. Now we can rediversify the world by reopening our mom and pop individual, you know, the tech is there now to support us to do that. So now we can rediversify the business landscape with our soul's purpose gifts. So I also feel like business has to be natural to your life, and that your online offer has to fit you and your lifestyle. I certainly had to come home and care for my son from my government job, and I needed something flexible that allowed me to deal with the priorities that were natural for me in my life. Some people prefer to be podcasters. Some people prefer to be behind the scenes. Some people prefer to, like write blogs or do other things. And so we need to customize your tech and your other business pieces around and your offer, the way you deliver your offer, whether it's a course or something else, a downloadable, a live coaching, whatever the format is. I help you design your offer from the free, your Costco free samples up to your low, mid, and high tickets, and design your offer ecosystem so that it's natural for you to deliver, and that the tech and automations can support you in things that you're not so comfortable with, so that you can focus on what you love to do and your soul's purpose for being here. So that's me as the natural entrepreneur, as a social purpose enterprise, supporting kids and families who have complex needs.
Michelle, that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. So many different things that there was such a clarity to what you shared today. It was really perfect and beautiful. One of the things I'd love to hear you share is what's the superpower that comes to mind to share about yourself? What's one of your superpowers? I know you've got many.
I think I'm good at really listening to what the needs are and customizing around your particular needs, and really I love to cheerlead and boost up and help with a little bit of the mindset stuff as well. Entrepreneurship is a totally challenging and a game to play, and just really love supporting people in having the confidence to get out there and make it easy with the tech.
All right, thank you. And I know that Adriana and I have both been we've experienced that superpower of that listening. So thank you for, it just felt really important to acknowledge what is one of your superpowers. So thank you for sharing that. Kanji, we're going to go to you next, please. So if you can pick up some threads that you had heard from Michelle and then share yours. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Kanji Lo. And one thing I really enjoyed about what Michelle was sharing is that business is an ecosystem. And with anything, one part does not work without the other part. So for example, with marketing, right, you need to have your offers in set. Like if you don't have your offer right, then your marketing doesn't work. And a lot of the time, I feel like this is quite true in entrepreneurship, especially when you're starting out, is that you feel as though that you're not good enough, or there's that imposter syndrome, right? And I feel as though that is the biggest fear that everyone has been given. It's not something that we've learned, it's something that we've been given, like through conditions, through society. And once we get over that, business is an opportunity, again, for you to shine light, to shine that gift, to share that with the world. And I feel like that's what I do. through B2B AI marketing. Obviously, to get to where I am right now and having a marketing agency, I've done so many different things. I've trialed, things from driving Uber in Australia. Before Uber came to Australia, I've done things like, teaching English, teaching music, done things like starting a restaurant, even coaching. So I was in a business coach, and I still coach today, and I still mentor. And through that, I realized, like, you're not really confined to one thing, but you can do many things. Even coming from a tech background, because I was doing project management for 5-6 years, I started to realize, like, I feel like my superpower through helping businesses is helping them get on the stage, helping them, shine their light through their business offers. And I do that through AI. I'm really, really interested in what AI is capable of, creating like custom GPTs for clients, having custom GPTs that I use to help with my clients and their target audience, and basically automating the whole process. Emails is what I'm really good at, as well as Facebook advertising and meta ads. And through that, I get a lot of speaking engagements. So I've been able to speak on, blockchain conferences, AI conferences. I'm actually heading to the Philippines actually after this to speak at an AI conference and blockchain conference. So I feel as though that's something I love to do, and that's how I serve. I serve it through the agency, as well as, being on stage and helping individuals shine the light there. I feel like why I do what I do is because, I don't know, I just felt as though, like, as an entrepreneur, and even as a soul having a human body experience, right? I feel like we are given this avatar, and we're meant to shine this and show our avatar to everyone. We've got all these different gifts, all these different things that are going on for us. And I felt as though from a very young age that it's something very important, because we're not confined to our label of our name, and we're so much greater than that. And I feel like people who do understand that, do know that from a soul level, start to realize that later in life, or even very early in life. And it's beautiful when you do connect and are on the same vibration. And I feel like that's something that I'm really gifted at. I'm really gifted at bringing an audience. I'm gifted at, just being able to inspire people. I feel as though with everything that I do and can help others, I help them, I help support, I listen. I have a very grounding way of allowing people to step into that stage and to see themselves, and to also shine that to everyone else as well. So yeah, I'm actually really blessed to be here. I've sort of felt the nudge to just go out and do a lot more this year for myself, and I'm blessed to meet all of you that are on here, and those are watching as well. Because yeah, at the end of the day, you're not limited to who you think you are. You're so much greater than that. So thank you for the opportunity.
Wonderful, Kanji. That's very exciting, and safe. Yeah, just wishing you all the best with your travels as you head to this next conference, and that. So looking forward to continuing to follow you and all that you're doing as well. So thank you for that. All right, Mike, you get to pick up a thread now, and from something that Kanji has shared.
Sure, Mike McQuillan speaking, coach. I believe in recycling. So I use some of my old teaching methodology notebooks to take notes on people I meet with. So I've got my intermediate 3 notebook from teaching English as a foreign language here in Peru. This is how the journey started. I never fell in love, never liked being a student, but I had a opportunity to teach at a career institute, and it said there's something about this teaching, and I ended up here in Peru teaching English as a foreign language. That's what led to this. So teaching the language and really honing in on how people communicate is a great way to launch any kind of people business, let alone something that involves speaking. So kudos to you for that, and have fun in the Philippines. What's that? Padawan? There's some incredible beaches there. The beaches in Peru, believe it or not, I know we're being recorded. They're really not that nice. So enjoy the beach out in the Philippines. You would think it's all that coastline. It's just not all that great. The mountains are incredible. As for what I do, besides a very impromptu language and geography lesson, I keep a part of and we talked about this on Adriana's podcast, which we recorded on January 1st, so my year is blessed already. But what I do is I keep some flashcards of positive affirmations. It's come a long way. I read about Napoleon Hill, picture yourself in possession of the thing you seek to have. Problem is, I physically had a panic attack doing that. First time in my life, I was 47, because picturing, oh, I have this beautiful house on a lake, and I'm thinking, what's the payment? How do I get the electricity? It's just too many things. So I focus on the present, my positive affirmations, I keep on my flashcards. Last meeting I sent you, it was last year. I can make a dork out of anybody, so I'm not going to show you that one again. But I put here, my purpose in life is to use my competitive drive to motivate people to put their talent to work. That is one thing, and that's what gets me going, because 5/25/25, May 25th, I'm running another marathon. It's been a long time. The last one was before COVID. My youthful energy gets me respect. It's been a thing I've affirmed that, because sometimes people think that having personality and being professional, there's some kind of a trade-off with that. And I'm here as a speaking coach to shatter that fake hierarchy. We talked about this. I feel like I'm repeating myself. That fake hierarchy that says somehow this prestige in having no personality, and your stuffed shirt corporate leaders who don't know how to make people laugh are somehow more prestigious than people you actually like. So I have to tell myself, my youthful energy gets me respect, and that keeps me from going off the rails and some of the sophomoric humor I'd rather be using right now. Another, and you might have experienced this already, I sum up your life, your business, and your purpose for being within minutes after meeting you. And here's a business thing I didn't talk much about, but my assessment tool, because I have a degree in guidance counseling, my assessment tool is changing the business world for better forever. So those are some of the gifts that I bring. I also speak Spanish. I don't know if that's relevant here. As to who I serve, I started this for the fitness industry. When I got into learning how to be a speaking coach, a lot of people want that C-suite because they want the C-suite money. I'm not allergic to C-suite money, but I said the fitness industry needs this. Light went on, but in this online journey, I meet solopreneurs, and people think that solo business people are at a disadvantage, but really in expressing yourself and sharing your message and telling people who you are, what you do, why you do it, you are at an advantage, because it comes from the heart. This is not, well, we decided to scale the business, so we hired a marketing department. This is the essence of who you are. And another one of my affirmations is, my business is an extension of my identity. As to why speaking is so important, most people speakers put the focus on themselves. And to put the focus on the audience, and a lot of people say, I put the focus on my audience, and this is why I am going to show my PowerPoint. Now, the way to put the focus on your audience is to think about, what is your audience going to think, act, and feel? And those think, act, and feel line up to body, mind, and spirit. Actually, it's mind, body, spirit, if you put it in that sequence. But that's the whole thing. You want to tap into their mind, what they're thinking, tap into their body and what they're actually going to physically do as a result of you talking, and how they feel, how you tap into them spiritually. You have to create that three-dimensional experience to be a speaker, to be a leader, and to be a client of mine. You will do that. Got 40 seconds. You want me to sing the Macarena? I set a world record once for
And do you, how do you offer your offers? Do you do one-on-one coaching? How can people get engaged with you if they need that? I meant to ask you that as well.
Well, since your business is a solo business, it's best that we work one-on-one. I do offer workshops on demand, especially if you're a student athlete, then you want to get your team to be better communicators, then we'll work in a group. But my signature talk is a 6-week one-on-one coaching experience.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike, for sharing and for your entertaining and engaging way of keeping us on our toes and wondering what's coming next. So thank you for that. Uta, please welcome here, and we look forward to hearing what you will share.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I'm really excited. There's so many little strings and pieces that are already connected. So I've just been to Peru for the first time. Yeah, I spent 2 weeks in the Amazon with a tribe. And for Kanji, of course, I've been to Vietnam, and I used to live in Australia. And what took me to Australia was actually 30 years I've been traveling to Australia. And then many years back, I was finally allowed to apply for a permanent residency. And that was a dream, but this is a different dream. That dream has gone. I returned to Germany, where I'm actually based, because my parents got sick. So I'm so excited because there's so many pieces, as I said. And when Michelle spoke about her business, being a mom and having a son that is on the spectrum of autism, I thought, right, as a midwife, of course, everything for me doesn't start not only with a dream or a vision, everything starts with a birth, the birth of an idea, the birth of a baby. And so for me, in the past 41 years, I have accompanied so many women and their partners through labor, and I've done this in all kinds of setups. So I have two really big purposes in life. One is to really support and help people in this amazing 9 months of their life. And like the connection really is when you're pregnant, it often is a dream come true for many of the couples I work with, but also, you shape the health and another being inside your womb. What people most of the time don't know is that whatever you do in your pregnancy, whatever words you use, whatever music you listen to, whatever you eat, whatever you think, whatever you do is going to really truly shape your baby on all levels. And after I've been a midwife for such a long time, of course, I discovered many other things that got me curious, because in general, I'm a curious person. I like to know why, how, and what I also like to know is how can I help you to have, the ability to help yourself. So in my journey as through my work, of course, I noticed many things, because life is, as already Mike said, up and down. And even I think Kanji said it. And by the way, I love AI because I think it's going to be a great helpful tool for many of us, also for my business, because I love this. I love my people's business, but I also love business as an entrepreneur. And so because I wanted to help people better, I went into many different areas, whether it was acupuncture, NLP, hypnosis, and many things. Because I know that often what stops us in life is like, panic attacks, trauma, fear. And suddenly we feel like, as Kenji said, not good enough. Yeah. So for instance, when you look at giving birth, and for all the moms here, I know that that how you give birth, how your pregnancy goes, how you give birth, how your start is into your time after the birth makes a big difference. When you had a good birth, you look back on it together with your partner and you always say, wow, wasn't this an amazing day in our life? And when it was a not very good birth, a traumatic birth, you will feel like, who am I? I'm a loser, not good enough. There's an impact on your partnership, your bonding, your finances, on everything. Yeah, so it can put you really in a bad place. So because I'm a midwife entrepreneur, I really wanted to help people, and I created many different groups, courses, and things to allow people to get over fear, overcome trauma, and things like this. And now, like Mike, I agree, sharing your light on stage is fantastic. And I've been on stage in different places in the world, in Montreal, sorry. I went to Toronto to do a walk around the tower, but I spoke in Montreal, I spoke in Australia, in London, in Norway, in many other places. And to speak on a stage, of course, really puts you in the position to share your knowledge about what you have experienced with your clients and how you can change their life and take them from fear to confidence, from trauma back to happiness. And I love it. And that's a great thing. Yeah. And okay, so many things I could speak now for hours, but I know I can't. I have 43 more seconds left. I love sharing my knowledge with a huge audience. Yeah.
Do you do, so you mentioned you have online courses, but you also have one-to-one coaching. What kind of containers do you have?
Thanks for the question. Well, I have everything. Sorry, I'm the Mary Poppins, the Gary Vee of the birthing world. I have everything. I have online courses. I have online live courses. I have offline courses. I do one-to-one coaching. I do group coaching. I do really a whole big package of things. So people can access me from anywhere in the world, and they can find many different things that will be helpful to them. And it doesn't matter whether it's 3 o'clock in the morning or whether it's 3 o'clock. Music. Love it.
Thank you so much, Yuta, for sharing that, and very inspirational pieces from there. And when you mentioned that about being a business midwife, and I know that Michelle, one of your titles as well is the digital doula. So this aspect of birthing is very common. Thank you for that, for sharing. And Dallas, welcome hearing from you now. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. The two threads I see are service and skills. Service runs through every aspect of life, and skill is a tool that we develop to deliver service. My work is behind the curtain of our life, and it is simply that we are each a story, and we are each storytellers. Everything that happens to us from birth forward creates a story. That story becomes our identity as we identify with it. And this is the great moment of separation, because we are not the story. We are the being who identifies as a story. So for me, my story, like many others, began in trauma, in learning that I was not smart enough, good enough, strong enough, capable enough. I was a failure, a loser, and lived with that story and believed that story, my history, as we all believe our history, because we believe that is us. So I lived with my history yesterday, what's behind me, as my presence. And so I lived in the pain and suffering of the story, the baggage that I carried. Then I got lucky. On July 1st, 2020, I got cancer. It was the best day of my life. That started a year of life collapse, as I call it. I went through treatment, lost my wife, lost my house, lost my family, my business. I was an alcoholic, a drug addict, wound up alone and suicidal. And that began the lights to go on. That allowed the door to open. And for me to see that yesterday is not me and is not you or anyone else. It's only something we believe is true. And I got lucky in that one day, while planning to end my life, I had a podcast on in the background, and a man in the podcast talking about consciousness just had this one line: show me yesterday. And my brain is very materialistic and said, I can't go to the cupboard and pull yesterday out and show it to you. Where is it? My whole life is directed from yesterday. If it's not something that's real, is it just something I believe? And what does that mean? I believed things 10 years ago that I don't believe today. I will believe things in 10 years that I don't believe today. So are beliefs real? And this started the whole chain of trying to understand there is no yesterday. I have to hold yesterday and keep it alive by repeating it, by going back to my trauma and feeling it and holding it, taking care of it, loving it, being compassionate for it. And this is the pain I keep. This is the pain we all keep. Now, on the other side of our life, of course, is life in the world, where we use our service and skills for business. And so many still carry the baggage behind them, even in their business. And the pain will be infecting the business continuously. Maybe at a low level for some, maybe at a high level. I had 9 different businesses and failed at all of them. I failed because I'm supposed to fail. I was living up to my story. When business began to work, of course, everything collapses because it can't work because I'm living in a different place. It wasn't until I realized I had to be present right here. As we are all here today speaking, we are not somewhere else. We are not in our past or in our projected future of what might work and what might not work. We're only here in the real reality of our being. And so all my work now is to try and bring people to say to themselves, don't believe in yourself, because the self you're believing in is your problem. And we have a hyper conscious society right now saying, believe in yourself, be strong, fight through, grind. This is causing more dislocation of mental health because we're not understanding the self is the problem I'm believing in. We must reimagine who we are now in this present moment. And so as far as my business structure, it's my email. People want to reach out, we start talking. That's it. End of story.
Awesome. Thank you, Dallas. Thank you for that. It was interesting just watching each of us's our responses and feeling the response to what you shared. So thank you so much. I'm feeling to go next, and I will pick up. There are actually a couple of different threads, Dallas, from you. And one of those is that of the story as an avid reader from a child. And then as a teacher, I used to, when I taught school, I was the teacher that taught children how to write stories, and this whole theme about stories. And yes, absolutely recognizing that the ultimate story is that there is an us, there is a me, and in this whole journey. And then that aspect of belief, and the way that I spell belief or believe is with the capital L-I-E inside, that there's always a lie inside every belief. It's actually interesting in my work where I'm the work that I'm moved into sharing in the world is that around the aspect of sexuality. And it's an interesting thing that as I look at my story of how did that come to be, as often any great story is, there's this, this character, right? And then all of these different situations and persons on their journey along the way that becomes these challenges, they become these tests, any great fairy tale, right? There's somebody that's on their way someplace or to experience something, and then, it's often threes, right? 3 challenges, 3 siblings, 3 days, 3 tests. There's always the power of the 3 in some ways. But that piece of how it is supposed to be, where we have these challenges and where we have these places to have these aha moments. And sometimes for some, it is that aspect of that turning back into remembering. And so when I look at my story and I talk about the story of Hansel and Gretel, that in one version, there is that of when they leave home, they drop breadcrumbs. And so when they go to return home, they can't find their way because the birds have eaten all the breadcrumbs. The other version is where they drop the pebbles. And so when they go back, it's they just follow the pebbles back. And I look at all of those traumas, the different things where I have, and other people in my work, those traumas around sexuality, about consent, about this idea of separation, whether it's from each other, from our divinity, our soul essence, that it becomes this journey of everything gets more and more separate until something starts to awaken that place where, wait a minute, and then every one of those traumas that we get to revisit is from a place of appreciation for what we've come through in our journey back home to remembering the truth of who we are. So oftentimes when people arrive to me, it's women will say, I'm looking to reconnect to myself sexually. Men arrive to me and saying, I want to be the best that I can be for my partner, for my girlfriend, for my wife. And over the years, it's no matter who I work with, that it becomes this journey of taking them back home because of how we've been taught to look outside of ourselves. And again, I say by divine design, that great story writer says, let's make it seem like we're separate. Let's make it seem like that there's other, that there's woman, there's man, there's God, there's human, and there's journey of trying to do this and to come back together, and this incredible portal of sexuality. And when I first started my practice as a somatic sexologist 15 years ago, it was really supporting people in their sexuality, and I'd weave my energy work in and the various things. And over the years, it's become, through my own journey, it's been this recognition that, oh, that's just really, it's all about the spiritual aspect of things, of who we are. And even as poems came flowing through me at my midlife sexual awakening, that they were, yeah, some were hot and steamy, but the majority of them really were about the spiritual aspect, that idea of moving beyond who we think we are, and coming back into. So supporting people using sexuality as that portal where something feels like something just doesn't feel right. It feels, I don't feel at home in my body. I don't feel connected to myself. Let's use that as the starting place to feel our way back home, to feel into the truth of who we are. And I do that through various ways. I work, and I think one of the superpowers that I have is, from my midlife sexual awakening, feeling like so disconnected from my own sexuality, to be able to talk about sex and erotics, our erotic nature, or that life force energy of who we are, with freedom. So to create these safe and sacred spaces for people where they can, wow, they can open up and share, where they can just talk in a very natural way, to be present. So I work one-on-ones with group, do trainings. I'm a bondage trainer, where really supporting from that BDSM domination, looking at that as the mirror of our human and our human experience, surrendering into the truth of who we are. So those are some of the ways that I work with people. All right, Adriana, on to you.
Let me time myself. So let me ask you all of a question. How many of you, when you enter this in the, say, the 10, 15 seconds that you are present in this room, you had already a label on the other people by just looking, hearing them? How many of you already put a label in your mind, not necessarily physically, but in your mind, you had the label, oh, that person is this way, that person is that way, that person might be this way. And we do that every single day in our lives. Why? Because we need labels to know where to categorize people. And how do we do that? Through observing other people. How other people do that? The way we communicate with them. So for me, communication is one of the biggest things that is my gem. It's how people communicate, but not just verbally. We all communicate. We all public speaking. You want to believe it or not, we all speak every single day. We speak with ourselves in our minds, maybe in the mirror, like I do, or maybe you always speak with people around you, with your family, in your business, with your team. We're doing this speaking, this communication. Why we communicate? Because it's a form of expressing our minds, our feeling, our thoughts, to express that of who we are, or what we want, or what we need with the rest of the people. And my gift and my why in the same thing is because I grew up in a very patriarchal culture where I was indoctrinated. Like Mike said, that I believed and I lived the story, my story. So my story was that woman doesn't speak much, woman doesn't have a right to speak a lot, men are above women, and then I need to keep my mouth shut, and I don't have a right to say too much. And growing up like that, I was indoctrinated like that, and I created a blueprint. And one thing that stood up when Lorna mentioned that we need to turn back to who we are, but not to turn back to look at who I was, but turn back and look at who I want to actually be, the person I want to be, not the person I was. And for me, that was a big, big moment when I woke up one morning and I look at the person in the mirror and I didn't know who she is. I didn't know how to talk with her because it was a stranger in my room, in my bathroom. And that was a catalyst moment for me when I realized that how can I communicate what I want with the people around me? How can I create better relationship with the people around me when I don't know how to communicate with me? So I had to learn how to communicate with myself before I'm able to communicate with other people. And then I decide to dive deep into understanding myself, to discover and create who I want to be. So then I know what to show the world, the person I really want to be, not the person I was or the story I had created for myself. And communication for me, I think, is one of the most important things. It's a skill. The people that say, Adriana, but I don't have your enthusiasm. But Adriana, I don't know how to speak like you. Yes, you don't know, but that doesn't mean you can't. You can learn it. I learned it. The person that you all see here today is not the person I was 10 years ago, or the person I was 5 years ago, or even the person I was a month ago. I change, I always evolve because I have the curiosity to understand who I am and who I want to show up every day. And communication is critical. We want to excel in our businesses, then we need to learn how to express and market that to the people, because we are the business. If we want to help and serve other people, we need to learn how to bring that to the world, to speak their language, not our language, because that was the thing I had to learn the most. I had to learn how to speak their language so they can understand me. Before, I was speaking my language, expecting them to understand my language. It doesn't work this way. So the way I do it and the people I serve is those people that realize that I've been speaking in a way, or I communicated in my relationship, in my team, in a corporate team. Nobody listens to me as a manager. Why? Because you're not communicating the right way with them. And that requires certain tiny skills. But when you put them all together, it becomes absolutely a different way to show off, a different way to serve, and a different way to bring up your gifts to the world. And I do that through trainings, workshops, one-on-ones. We can dive deeper into why you're not communicating the way you're not communicating, or why you using certain words. And because, like Mike said, everything has a story. We need to figure out the story and rewrite the story. We'll be able to create something new.
There you go. There's that beautiful music for you. Thank you so much for sharing that, Adriana. And yeah, that piece of service. And as Dallas said, the service and the skills really been a theme today. All right, Michelle, you began. Please go ahead and pick up a thread that Adriana had shared. And then if you'll take us into our third and final round, which will include just a highlight from what's our experience today, as well as a next step that we're inviting people into.
Sure. Well, I think the communication piece that Adriana shared was actually something that I saw woven through everybody's, in a sense. And it's that piece of communicating our individual, like our human experience. I think Dallas was, like and I think actually Kanji even said, like we're here as we've chosen to come to planet Earth school, to learn our lessons and experience our things. And we're this this being that's incorporated in these meat sacks, and having gathering, it's the instrument of our information. And I love that Jutta, helps, bring people into the world. And I actually had both my kids at home, so I deeply appreciate what you do. And Lorna, that portal of sex, being the portal to the birth, just is something that I really appreciate about yours. Dallas, I really loved what you talked about the yesterday, not being in the cupboard. And it really, in a sense, that those are all just energetic thought forms that we hold by re-experiencing the emotional piece of it, and that we can let those go and disintegrate those and pull, use our emotions to pull other things out of the field into reality as well. So and that each of us have that gift. And Kanji, I love that you use the tech and the AI to help people accelerate that, and to help them bring out their individual gifts. And Mike, how you help them form the story of that, and how you help them learn how to speak. So I think the communication and unique soul purpose services of everybody in the group has been amazing today. And so I want to thank you all. And you can see why I love working with Adriana and Lorna here in Body, Mind, and Soul group, because every time we have one of these groups, it really does like, oh, yeah, I'm going to remember Yetta's doing midwifery stuff. I'm going to remember Dallas is an emotional bag of terror. I'm going to remember Kanji for, I'm going to remember Mike. And so that's the kind of connections that we like to create here. And Connection Circle always happens, always beautiful, different each time. And we also formed the group to be able to try and help position you in Connection Circle so that people can see you, and if there's people looking for services, they can find you, and that if you're looking for clients, you can find them. So that's the function of the main group. But then we thought, well, we also want to help often wellness providers, they're here to serve their hearts and souls purposes, and sometimes there's pieces about the business stuff that they could use support with, and we just really wanted to build a place where these light workers of body, mind, and soul, and you don't have to be a wellness provider, you can be like Kanji and support them, but a place where these providers can connect, get exposure and increased visibility, where we can collaborate to advance in the same way those old-timey mom and pop brick and mortar used to have chambers of commerces that all supported each other. A digital version of that where we know each other, we've connected in Connection Circle, we're featuring each other. We have a subscription community for providers called Provider Circle now, where we have a shared like a service swap. We also have a storefront for you to feature your products in, that we will be promoting and marketing to kind of feature you. There's going to be events and micro summits and all sorts of other features. So we've developed an inner circle provider community that we'll drop the link for in the chats. But if you are, we wanted to thank you for being here today, and we can tell you all about that other stuff the other time. But we wanted to also say that now that you've been here on Connection Circle, we'd love to have you on for a one-to-one interview. I did one with Mike the other day. It was great, and it would be great to do a one-on-one deep dive for 15 minutes on each of your services, so that folks here in the group, and that's free as well, the folks here can get a better sense of a little bit deeper into what you do. So if you're interested in that, you should get an email after this. If you don't, just contact one of us, and we'll happily sign you up for that one-to-one interview. So yes, and you can come back again to Connection Circle like Mike has. You can do the one-to-one interview. You can check out the Provider Circle for the business support and for the visibility and exposure stuff. And what else? We were going to do a wind-up round of how it has been for you in the session. So if you could each think of a word that describe the vibe, that something you felt, something, a word to capture what you thought of this session today. I'm going to go around, collect that one word, and then you can say any last final thoughts. And before we head out minutes here, so we'll just keep it fairly short. But let's start with Kanji. Kanji, what word would you use to describe the session today?
I would say what really comes to mind is connectedness. Just like everyone's just really connected in this group, and it was beautiful to hear all the different threads and how everyone connect those threads together. But not just that, but like everyone's services as well, and how it's top down from soul down to body, which is so beautiful to hear. From all aspects, from a skill set, like Dallas said, from skill set level to a service level. So I really enjoyed that.
That's great. We really appreciate you being here and for being a resource for everybody in the group. And yeah, that piece around connection and focus on supporting each other and in real terms. I mean, AI will help express ourselves, but the human connection will never not be necessary. And that's what we are really trying to hang on to here in this group. So thank you for pointing that out. Dallas, what was your word for today?
Energy. Life force is what we are. Is a ball of energy, and that's what we share here. Amongst all the differences, there's more the similarity. And that's the threads that weave everything together. And we constantly find that we are all walking the same road. We're just wearing different shoes.
Beautiful.
So we share the energy.
Thank you so much for being here and for sharing your energy today. I really felt I felt your journey and what service you're really providing people. So thank you. Jutta?
Well, my word was connection, just like Kanji, because I felt the story in the story and how each story connects from sexuality to birth, the doula, the business that needs a birth, the support can be AI, and of course the power of speech. You know, everything, kind of the trauma that you overcome, that becomes your story, your motivator, yeah, all of that. And that, of course, you are not what your business is, but your business is still an extension of your identity. Because if you don't love what you do, well, you know, it's never going to be a soul business, isn't it? And so, you know, that's my final thought to all of that. And I have to say, love it. It's really fantastic. Yeah. And the last thing is, there's a beautiful book, The Diamond Way, a Buddhist aspect of business. And that's something that came to my mind as well, that sometimes you feel like in your business, you should not be shouting out what you do, tell not people who you are. But I think that's not true. You know, you have to communicate to the world who you are and what you do and why you do it. And that's going to really connect you with clients that need you, because everyone sits on a mountain of wisdom. Everyone has a unique aspect that is worth sharing in the world. That's at least my belief. Yeah. And that might change again when we come to the word belief.
Amazing. You just strung it all together. It is. It's like a whole life cycle. I'm always thinking about systems. So thank you for that. Adriana, what's your word for today?
Similarity.
Stimulating?
No. We are stimulated after this connection, but similarity.
Similarities, yes. Okay.
Yes, we all have a lot of things in common. I even like the word community, because it come in unity. We have the unity. We all come in the unity. We all have that essence in what we do, in what we actually want to do, like Mike said, and like Adala said as well too.
Thank you so much. Beautiful. Mike, what was your word for today?
My word is collaborative. A lot of networking groups are very competitive, and it's just, oh yeah, well, I'm a web designer. Oh yeah, well, and there's none of that here. It's just about being, I would say that's a feminine thing, that women are natural collaborators and men are natural competitors. But I really don't need any social support to drink beer and curse and lift weights, but there's something special about this. I'm really impressed with you, your ability to listen, especially you picked up, you say my piece is better than I do. Consider as a midwife, your job is to block out all the outrageous things that women say during childbirth. I'm very impressed by that. But my word is definitely collaborative.
Excellent. I'm really glad you're here, Mike. Yeah, and you know, your ability to kind of like sum things up and help people shape their narrative. I know is really powerful. So you're quite a resource here. So and Lorna, what is your word?
Seems like there's, interestingly, 3 words. There's joy, there's peace, and there's one that it's actually not even a word, it's just a feeling. I can't put it to words. It's just, I guess presence would be the, yeah.
Well, mine is inspiration, because I find each of you inspiring in your own unique ways, and it just underscores that piece of the reason that we're here on our soul's journey and path. You know, we are the cogs in the universal clockworks that help each other's stories along. And it's been such an honor to have the connection here today where our cogs intertwined for a little bit, and hopefully that these connections, you know, that whether it's between us here in the room or those watching, if you want to get a hold of Jutta or Dallas or Kanji or Mike or Lorna or Adriana or I, you know, just drop a line in the comments. We'll get each of you, we'll tag you in the post and get each of you to drop the place where people can connect with you. And hopefully we'll see you on the one-to-one interviews. We're a few minutes over here, so I won't belabor things anymore, but look forward to seeing you guys again, maybe on a future Connection Circle or your interview. And for those of you who are watching, make sure you come on and connect with us in Connection Circle. Next one's in 2 weeks on Sunday, and we'll drop the link for registration below. It's absolutely free. Lorna, Adriana, anything you want to say before we go?
No, we just want to say thank you to all the people, to all of you beautiful people present here today. Your time is precious, and we want to acknowledge that. Thank you so much for coming here, sharing your beautiful gifts, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your stories. And also for those that are watching, thank you so much for watching. You know where to find us. If you need have any questions, connect with these beautiful people, collaborate, because that's what, like Mike said, it's all about collaborating, not competing. And also, thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everyone.